Hey guys, it's Roberto XD here. I'm here with a bit of a different kind of video today. I've been thinking a lot about all the things that happen in people's lives, with their family, with their friends, people they care about, people they don't even know exist. And I guess a lot has just been going on for me lately, and I really wanted to tell everyone out there that life goes on. It picks up for everyone. If the crappy times that we live through are the only times that exist in our lives, then what is living? Living is, to me, it's going through the bad times to get to the good ones. If you spend all of your present time focusing on how bad and how many terrible things that could happen to you, you're gonna miss all the great opportunities, all the good things that can happen to everyone. There are so many people in the world. There is not a way that you cannot find the person that does it for you. Now, I'm not necessarily saying the person that's gonna love you forever, or the person that you're gonna want to spend the rest of your life with, but just the person that no matter where you are, what you're doing, who you're with, they will always be there for you. You will find that point in your life that is just complete. Some people never get that chance, but I think that's more because in themselves, they let themselves become consumed by the bad aspects of life. A lot of things can happen to people in just a short amount of time. A lot of things can affect your whole world. But one thing that can't happen and will not happen is letting your present actions and decisions affect your future existence. Now, that's not to say to just completely do whatever you want with no regard to anyone or anything that could happen. But that's to say that if something bad happens now, don't let that be your anchor. Let that be the infrastructure, the thing that keeps you from going back down to the bottom. Because if every time one of those bad things happen to you and you put it under your feet and stand tall over top of it and prove that you're better than that situation, then you've already progressed as a human being. You've already done one critical step in finding the most happy you can find yourself. Oftentimes, we think that the future is a complete connection to the present. It's not. The future is whatever you want to make it to be. There's free will to do anything. You want to change your destiny, you want to change what your future has for you, you do that, because you can. There's nothing that anyone can do to stop you. If you want something, take it. It's your right as a human and as a person to pursue the things that make you happy. Now, there becomes a fine line between pursuing something that makes you happy and destroying your chances at finding something new. We often look into something so deeply and overthink it, thinking that how can this be such a crazy concept and not affect anything? Because it affects our lives so much in the present. But that's the thing you have to grasp with your mind. You have to wrap your head around that you can change anything. Anything that happens is not the final answer. Nothing is final. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is just put in order so you can make what you want of it. I think our goal as a human species is to come together and evolve into something greater. But in order to do that, you have to think about all the things in life and find the things that make you happy, because it's easy to find a consensus on things that are bad. It's really easy to frown upon and complain about all the things that have happened to you. But if you're strong, like I know everyone in this world is, you will find a way to get past all those obstacles, those problems, those issues, the concerns that you have. Because once you do that, you have taken one step closer into finding the absolute happiness you deserve. I don't believe that any person in the world doesn't deserve to be happier than the world can even offer them. You should push to those limits and find the greatest thing possible for you, because you deserve that. There's a great quote by Michelangelo I think about a lot. It states, "The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but setting our aim too low in achieving our mark." By this he means, if you set your standards to the highest possible, maybe even unreachable, you will achieve so much more in your life, setting your bar so low to something you know you can achieve and stopping there. Because then you're going to miss all those great things you could have done if you would have just let yourself be who you are meant to be. Everyone has a purpose in this life. Everyone plays a role in our goal to evolution. Now, I know what I'm talking about may not seem connected in any way. I'm going from evolution to just human problems to just life lessons. But I think it all coexists into something much greater and much more powerful than any of us could have imagined. Take the simplest problems you can think of. Those things attain and apply to every single aspect of your life. Everything that happens is driven by those very small issues and concepts that your mind and your body must overcome. You can always look to a better future, because there always is one. No way can what happens to you be the absolute bottom and you have to stay there. There's a reason they invented ladders. It's so you can climb to the top of things that are unreachable by yourself. Getting into that means that you need other people in your life to do these things. Sometimes you can't reach your highest mark alone. And I think that's another issue that a lot of people face in today's society, is they think they can achieve what they want to achieve alone. But you can't. You need to let other people help you. Now, a lot of times, issues stem from others. And a lot of times, there are disagreements between human to human, or any being to another being. But you must understand that in those problems lies a very important idea, that alone we are not as strong as we are together. Never go off onto the path of unknown alone. Take risks. Find things that are going to make you happy. Do the things that are going to give you joy in life. But do not do them alone. That doesn't mean you can't go out and try new things that interest you and do it by yourself. But that means that the issues and the things that will stem from those endeavors, you must seek out assistance. A lot of times, I think about how what I do affects other people. And sometimes I think, and maybe I'm going too far, but sometimes I think that some of my decisions or what other people do and what I do with other people sometimes shouldn't affect anybody else. But the matter of fact, it does. It does affect other people. The image that you set out for yourself and with other people affects everybody else in the world. No matter how much you like it, no matter how much you want it to. It may not seem fair to you. It may not make any sense. The reasoning behind it may not justify the means in the goals in the end. But what is true is that your feelings and anything you do with anyone affects others. That's not to say that you have to let other people control your life. That's not to say that you have to atone and listen and automatically do what everyone thinks makes you happy, because there's no way in life that you can make and everyone can appreciate and be proud of you. Disappointment is inevitable. There's no way out of those kind of situations. You can't find yourself in a situation or problem without someone not being 100% with your choice. A lot of times we think that there is a way. There has to be a way where it works out for everyone. There has to be a way where the situation accommodates all aspects that need it to. But that's just not the case. Never will you ever find a situation that has an actual problem that doesn't have a disappointment in there somewhere. That doesn't have an issue that just may never get resolved. And that's where it goes back to my point on you can't let those issues pull you down. Because sometimes people are going to disappoint you. Sometimes people aren't going to be what you want them to be. Sometimes the situation that you're in just isn't going to work for what you want it to be. But that's just going to have to happen. Life goes on. You will find those certain entities, ideas, that will find and go the way that you want it to go. But sometimes those things will just not end up in the way you want. Sacrifice is one of the critical things that needs to happen in order to achieve a greater length of happiness. Sacrifice is the thing that proves how much you care about certain things. Now, sacrifice sometimes can be misinterpreted as the extent to absolutely eradicate something from your life. Sacrifice means that you must completely disconnect it from your being, in yourself, in your soul. But that's not true at all. Sacrifice just means that you have to give and take in order to find the happiness that you want. Taking doesn't mean choosing an absolute, but neither does sacrifice. Sometimes you'll have to underwhelm someone in order for your own happiness to be conserved. Sometimes you'll have to let themselves discover the way for them to move on to a greater happiness before you can worry about it yourself. And that's where oftentimes the line between you need people in your life to help your problems and just to get rid of them at all and just absolutely disconnect yourself from others, the line gets blurred. But I will tell you that sometimes you will have to get rid of some things. Sometimes to achieve what you really want, you're going to have to let others, ideas, anything in life go. You don't have to completely dismiss it, like I've said. But sometimes you just have to say this isn't the time right now, and it's just not going to work. But in another sense, it can. Whether this be in a sport where you just may not have won the game, but you can allow yourself to move on and win the next one. Go on to the greater purpose that you want to achieve for yourself. Maybe it's with your parents or your family, where you have to underwhelm one of the desires they have for you in order to achieve your own happiness. Maybe it's a relationship thing, where you need to underwhelm somebody else to achieve the greater happiness that you want. Any of these things may have to happen for you to find the absolute happiness that you want. Sacrifice, disappointment are one of the basis ideas in the infrastructure of absolute happiness. That doesn't make sense if you think about it so loosely, but if you really dive deep into the idea of what happiness is, you'll see that giving in giving some of your ideas away and allowing other things to enter in your life are what completely collaborate into becoming living. Every one of you people out there are living right now, whether it be super well with your happiness seeing like it's coming right into you. But I will tell you, you'll find issues that will cause you to have to fork the road. Sometimes you just won't be able to travel both paths. Because once they get too wide and too skewed off from each other, you won't be able to have both feet on those paths. You'll have to choose. You have to pick what you want to be the absolute happiness for yourself. Which means you have to give up the idea of not knowing what could happen. You have to give up the idea or the possibility of what the unknown is. hanging on to the unknown is a great danger that lies in a lot of our lives. That doesn't mean that you can't use the unknown as the drive to find and understand and find your happiness that you deserve and want. But that doesn't mean you can hold on to it to the point where it skews and obstructs your happiness and others. The life you choose is an important one because you live once. It's a crazy concept trying to wrap your mind around. But it's something worth thinking about. If any of you have stuck through this whole spiel, speech, lecture, lesson, you want whatever you want to call it, I hope that you take the ideas I've said and create your own and find a way to your happiness. Some of you, like I said, will not need this advice right now. You may think that your happiness has been achieved, but that is not true. It's a misconception that happens all the time. You will run into the issues and the problems, the walls, the obstacles, the barriers that will keep you from just walking right to the end, the victory that you want. But if you push through, prove to the world, life, God, whatever you think the higher being is of your existence, or whatever that idea is, and you prove that that right there will not stop you, you are one step closer to achieving the happiness that you deserve. I really thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.